ya behwe so aye na adwuma na nka saniama we eko fire by surprise afa kwan ben so enti obi ana anye na adwuma yie na esa to so no say tombre bi na asamanfo ekuntia ye systems a sanctions na ye di ma no emma se echina bi obi kwa koye bia wonsuro saniama yi kwa wo hwa achedodo because sa tracks here yeah, impounded. Definitely, some custom officers were assigned to it. By this time, they should have been naming and shaming and administering appropriate sanctions. But Enyama Ayedin, looking at 85 million Ghana cedi, Enyesi Kakuma. And it is only God who knows how many of these dubious things have happened before and the Kurayeka we once. If you this last week, you could be before we could ever. Into a banner, sir. Now we are a buyer. You have to make sure that you ensure the appropriate sanctions. Send a best serve as deterrent.
The finance minister said, looking at it, he feels that and he knows that this is not just a one-person job done.
Yes.
This is a calculated, organized crime. Where young be within a certain value chain. They've made a decision. Say, "Yebema cargo naba be twemako din nanka 85 million. Ebi ate so kwa de 80 million nanka yache."
Yeah.
But these things, senior American, it's senior was okay, Way and ADM, meaning that the brain na craft mo. So how the sometimes when you say you can say your words are too harsh, but you see, at a point in time you feel like say a CCA, a heads must rule.
Yeah.
People need to face the law.
Because
85 million.
Yeah.
I'm now just re-eminancing the amount in its properly amount so called.
Yeah.
So how do we curtail this thing and make sure say it doesn't happen? Because even when you create system, any panel in this system no be.
Yeah. Until I can say there cannot be a system without ensuring say when people defy the system, what will be the sanctions? What I say? Say I am telling you say nia echo si na say yetimi eyi nipa bebre adia. I'm telling you a china obi kotu sana mona obedwin yenu. It's one thing. Say ya anya sandia mana we cannot be able to protect our systems because na wo kan we den a onipa na eba be ye ho ejuma. So it's very important say aban no be gina we so na yedia ahwe sene ye be ya echina bi fufuro emba. Coming to your other issue about the when food and beverage.
Yes.
Niana omo kan say ni aban kra kan ye no omo sha entimi solve problem no.
Yeah.
To in its entirety. Yeah, that's it. It's about putting the government at a crossroad. The NDC government has managed to coerce many Ghanaians to believe, say, success is directly tied to how cheap goods should be. Shall I take it again? Say, ubedi e wo biasi mu a ene na e wo say ye nuani ni ye niama eyefu enti business tycoons any omo kra niama free amanoni ni nyina e hwe kwan o mbefa so a omo niama ebeyefu enti the food and beverages for no e ka bibi say be ye like they should prohibit all entering of those things instead of our maybe
land borders
alone because almost he say ya nyano in all borders e bi kwa betima free baby aba and secondly they can change the paperwork betima and say e bia e twam ana say e baga na ntemwara atwam ayede akobabi but this is the case some loopholes now Food and Beverages Association, the government is also aware of it. But mind you say, if this thing is strictly adhered to, it will have economic consequences to the country. Do you know why? Do you know why?
Tell me.
Do you think, say, if not for smuggled goods, do you know what the prices of goods would have been? Do you know that smuggled goods are cheap at the market? Are you aware?
Mm-hmm.
Smuggled goods are cheap at the market. You know, these food and beverages, for why do you think they are making noise? They said this because they think the local industry is suffering. Ebia what produce anwani kan e Ghana ha. Ubehwe na ye dibia free babi awram. Ade no nso e ba ye no e fa kwantene ne so na nka omuji tax eni awon kan ho a nka nia udigi 500 cedi no enye 500 cedi. It would have been 600 or 700.
Yes.
But awram through dubious means into no ama niama no abayefo. So if you are a local producer, you must also align your prices to the foreign ones. And yes, I would obia
Enter.
Nti say we a government who budget cheap products. So do you think you can come out with strict conditionality against some of these things? Because ye di agro now say yes we are going to use the plug all holes. Now bibia en free babia en rama. I am telling you, say in a few days Messiah behind you will say the prices of this oil and coal will rise. And the government of the day is afraid of some of these things because that is what they are pretending over, is to get things cheaper for its citizens. But I think that is not all. We must look at protecting our local economy. We must make sure that among for there should be a good prospect in it. Send a being so eco-seti be apa. Enye akwadro emana eye bibisa ebetimi aboa. So the government is at a crossroad right now because e was so mo hwe eye bibi papa sene ebeya revenue no ebeba. So o ma nhwe so na se o mu gina mu chinchin a anhwa na eniama bo ekoye de na esade adwon fufuro abantina opposition say wo opposition na say o kasa, you have to be measured because in governance Odani ko benkum so a the consequences o ko ni fa so a consequences.
Okay,
that's it.
Iwa, I'll ask you the same question. Yes, the Ebanieka. Why are people now having that courage to be able to say about 18 cargo trucks monko for free without paying taxes? And let's put on record and say, and that's a but I'm quite buying for people to allow you to move 18 trucks, meaning that omaji omushare asho mutum no mama okwan ma okọ.
Meda wase na masanso achia me bra panyi. I think say first time I share ni. Ahase no mikase nkomo we nka bi di no abra political yenye den enka ho. Oya ade but I think say baby na person dey ayi politics den ebom, but that notwithstanding o question nyina say e di na be mani pa nya sa courage no. I just engaging in himself in this kind of art. I tell more minor sika 85 million Ghana cedis. Actually, I was chere. Now, before me chere asie no. Port science and semi enye na start here. Eni yetina kurum ha chepapa. Sanya hwe kra na, we've seen the videos of Professor Atamos. Atamos no president here ben no. That was 2009 to 2012. Ansa na say be ofria. No ko yes ade no. It said 10 years 12 years ago no. Na sa nyeme we de ekoso. Ato force nsan ba ebi. In the year 2026 budget no present here no. One of the interview ka said by be a financial risk exposure magana at the port service. You know why? Offer the budget statement for 2024 now. You see goods are a ba omaimu ha. A worth 200.4 billion Ghana cedis. But we need the team tax and 85 million Ghana cedis. Just about 100 billion Ghana cedis go down the drain. So this was captured in the finance minister report. Into Okase say if you take him, so be fund the Konya Kwakwa Transport on our then. Obey. say we nyina no na se kyerɛ ne sɛn hwɛ you see hono you can't take away the political class saa corruption e koso nyina because o di Ghana ni bia ko hye baabi a ohun ni say politicians are not protecting the public purse and yenye NDC and say MPP ye nyina ni na make asa hwɛ na say dey see Koko board say obi etimi ko issue letters of credit $48 million say 4 days I will be free abam no make ko credit juice tax abra juice tax wa kra 4 years ago that so one yan clear custom need so okọ ho no onu say eh there be say me mo bakura na still as an crofo de be there e de be ye ti mam so me nye me shefa enne wo hwɛ the customs na and Professor Tamos kind no obi join no custom 2-3 years who na it worth it even more than a banker worth it more than a medical doctor uboko usuku akosua all the mechanism of action all the A2 receptor antagonists say cymetic na usua say usua protein point him there ubakra na say custom ni ye fa na adwuma 2-3 years that you nka with them build na osia na enye won wa say yam for say 85 million Ghana cedis ni nipa 10 kwa na conspire together that you no more get 30 million Ghana cedis kwa na what kwa adwuma one day wo de yam for nimbo say 1 million Ghana cedis obi anya adwuma one day when you 10 billion. How many years will it take an ordinary Ghanaian to get 10 billion? If not in business, but on the government structure, how many years? And the honey they are not taking the political class out. Yeah, I feed it down to the ordinary the grounds. Hospital it is there. A dribble yen upako procurement in terms of pharmacy we said but I think say embrace that we need to have a different orientation as Ghanaians. Okay? Abano kwenti minye Ghana. And what the young Muslim is saying is a clear demonstration say government alone cannot change the nation. Didn't that make us ye to chrome her ye two fuel move bear by 5 pesos. That is a 2. Ye started in 2025. A breast is the na one day no. Omokache says no stable. Now see the not banya one deal over a period of 1 year consistent. And yama boako from another government. Hey, it is still like the transport. Me see, and Najuka Dumbo there is so disgusting and nauseating. And no, it is not the government. Yes, of course, government can regulate it, but when it's a Ghana, we are operating what called the open free and free market, where government cannot really because only can be fast or the near back. So you cannot do that restricted compliance for the person. But look at what is happening. And you know, the point in Ghana say we must all first of all have in mind say Ghana is what we have. Maybe so they quite but the system is working. Who can say no way on the system working? And I think we are custom officer by now. You will not be happy for yourself. Because one, Professor Temaka on open space and that record be I to force about the cankai and there was sense to do a beam. But then again, at the end of the month, Professor Lamanya Akudomoye and how them name Brapenny Beajuma. I think say the deterrent or the sanctions now at the microphone is not enough. Krumha so Obia cause financial loss to the state. Obia misappropriated 7 years ne ye didn't asem court. Satan na nipa ne ye kese mo. Ye didn't asem no. Ye chi NDC ni a. Hey, no more the chef life. Let's rescue the person. Ni le go. Abre nipa ne nya sa aska no. That me ti have school fees no. Me na me new kwa me fa so ye dey. Etua. It doesn't come to my benefit. Interhona I was a bit surprised in brand again the politics no. This is a national issue. Hey, and I make a channel say in the year 2024 no no. Look at how much you lose here by way of say Grofanya tax compliance year. And ye end this year go and you dey ne go hot dada. To him says cut down the drain. Now if not make some report to be I watch for the report here. Now me DVD kakra bi. Do you know that every year Senior Gold Border need lose $4 billion in terms of corruption? So now the conversation should be that you put up a system at least ain't mean see no coin completely, but then a a percentage that can be better off because sports is you can say it means see no coin even 50% that it will be of help to us. Because say it me yet an allocation Emma capitation grant 78 million Ghana cedis. Not some 10 like Atofos and kind organized group of customs. It's me or minor share 85 million Ghana cedi within a matter of hours. We need 24 hours. A matter of hours. And no be a question to say when you nimo na the after sumas in the into the emphasis said there be a man Ghana you share 5 million Ghana cedi, but which is not even the case. Who calculate this ask we at the end of the year? Do you know how much it is? And now go to the various hospitals a drumrebu okruma dachi na antivenom in any hospitals.
Yes.
It has to take a certain government under NDC to put 252 million Ghana cedis and say ultimatums and no. A drumrebi dialysis, I think about 5 regions people lost their lives. Then it is not government. It is the subai, the character of Ghanaians. Now the more corruption have festered too much. Now who cramp on our person yes system the year crown. Me see stigmatization will go through no. And the time we do no. I don't know be Ghana year. Mama no go to Jubilee House on then on me no. No the question na do. A woman say yes. You see penyu to feel na say ngola we nanka yebu nanka we for then. Okay ho. But that notwithstanding no, we also have a role to play as Ghanaians. It's a meme there. You know all can no. Yes, sis here no. All land borders be inclusive. This animal never be should come to the sea, so they can monitor. They monitor, and I think say call when I no share and need bread because finance minister say no. Or money because you are so on the budget aba. At the end of the day, he has to come and account and say.
But my question is that Nkrofo were more port because at every point in time you were more duty. You nim say office James office yen to mean clear goods be a bra emfa office yen him say assume sin na was say una was say ye way answer na why can't we gather all these people and there see yen na that people should be in fact but it's like ya tia mo gu ba bia ye twen audio mo asem.
Yeah, so now that 100 year one say this is a huge money, so I think say the deputy finance minister like so my timeline say they've given the commission 1 week to investigate and bring everybody to book. Nipa biana because say when you say there are some people who are supposed to be on duty. So have phone in you be some more questions. So if yes, 1 week I think let's grant them that you say 1 week in the day. Finance minister say boss say 1 week in be draw. They will still come before the microphone. I'm a Ghana for who there a course so why in the mass animal way there a manifest ask away. Then from there no all the appropriate sanctions should be meted out to anybody or share or turn or mass animal with the course. Because look, for all you know, you can come to work, go better bag man no. I didn't wait to see what FM station and I said, for all you know, now you don't even have idea of what is happening. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt, say, let's allow the investigation to go on. And also, we are 1 week, I think everybody is here, next week everybody is here. But yeah, establish here who said these are the culprits, not there. That is where the conversation should now be focused on. Yes, my young can transfer will be for the whole. Right away, they have to lose their job. Say if it's about me, finance minister say I have to transfer. No, transfer be anyhow. So what me tell my minus 85 million Ghana cedi. Transfer to what?
Now baby, I will transfer according to uncle yes I didn't.
So uncle you crumble for what? From the word go no, and no. And the person if so Japan he has to pay for it. See, it continues emboldening people. What the mission quote here? Then me say, who pass for medical doctor to or not for custom to people choose customs. Obias or custom. Now, me say custom. We are some for we no obia per border. There no. You can't say no mobile. You see, I know the be make people sometimes do a near me hard. I know maintain here. Hey, that's what you are host was saying. No, not necessarily your salary, but opportunities amount, exposure amount, and no question. Legitimate money. Sebi, me know what you say this no. And that's what Brian say. I don't think say on the most serious no or koye be bia or who that you be bia obeto the actual for so and then e can work at you. But one ye bia the afro so your custom officer no be port. No ultimate assistant nipa no e kwan paso. People appreciate. And those money on the Ghanaian standard one are more than average. And no quite money that be crowd the 100 Ghana cedis. You are more than average within the Ghanaian standard. How much is your salary? But Kofofi we nah. And still want to conspire. They refer to a litany of conspiracy theory. And you know, remember, and your politics. And you say, be in this nipper say, say brofo kura kan pese mu kote ba minti mu kote
because people now will tell you say ebia what about the ground is so fertile to breed this kind of act. It is the reason for which we are seeing them.
Say the ground say minti ase
Say no can say yente say afini yate meaning say mobile a new management about port meaning say be a new management on about port no
sa dey yes sir you say ke person dey politics muma we have every factor to our advantage. Do you know why? Me catch now say in the 2024 budget no omo na no mo aban mu no omo se goods e ba krom ha no e about 204 billion Ghana cedis. The team gi ho tax for 84 million Ghana cedis. What does it tell you? It just say loophole ke se bu wo ho. Na emom aban we aba why vigilant ntan dey hu sa na ema wuzo. I can equally make that point, three of us. Can't I? Yes. The same ayina okano. Anya hwe kura no ye former president, the late Professor Fifi John Rivers Mills, in the Korea press conference, condemning the acts ECOSWAP port hono. In the last 8 years, do you hear anything like that? You didn't hear anything like that. So tell say upa bank or no mum, vigilant and also paper to fighting near ECOSWAP port na na. It should be the NDC government because we have track records. And this thing did not start today. And now that you say a best start now one day in the Precopana 85 million Ghana cedi. Maybe the 1 million, the 2 million, the 3 million, the 15 million started some time ago. And it's not even limited to the past 8 years because Professor Atamos actually said it existed far 10 years ago. It's it's a national conversation we all must approach. Nipa na bia okasa ko ebi o ABB ni anaso ebi o NDC ni asem na make on. On any motive is just to advance on any personal parochial interest. So obe renchi no ho. Till we a partner be opposite there enko ba bia mo. So let's approach it holistically, and I think say with the measures not there. So omu investigate no mu say nipa ABC there. For me, there's no sanction better off than saying nipa korone there. Or they should dismiss his post.
Now they would dismiss it and that's kind of about before could and as a mu Jeffrey.
No, but
because you see there's a point I have this view that Mahmoud, if you are a public officer, now say we are buying sika. Now what we should do is to confiscate all properties that you have. You have ground zero. And government should dismiss you and start from ground zero because if wa just kana kwa kote japadie watoto adania dia investment ebi now pamona oh la la what man the so go enjoy you go and just enjoy.
Yeah it's not a bad call, it's a good call. But I don't know after say you sacking the corona that should not be enough. You say ko gina japadie na wo na wo ba biem look who's because I don't know scanner open no be where there enya japadie bi na be until say obi ayesane agina japadie a Mr. Dene, what will be the motivation? So it's a good call, and I always support that kind of call every day.
Well,
we them patch up. My membra mukaka. Yana me kana ebi ame brana anti asian. Enya politics ena media. But me chere say, bibi koso under the carpet. I was say yeshe. Nan ye dealing with. So who kind report now? The tracks were 18. Menu kasa 11 enewa aban ho. I don't know if you had details of the report.
Yes.
Almost 12. And about Kukra is at large. See menu kasa Then the other 6 they are now tracking it.
Yeah.
And see, is this not define the common fact to say you have a monitoring system in place? Because what is a monitoring system supposed to do?
So monitor the movement of the country.
And this is poor. And this is because I say you're poor and then I can't say why. You can't say Nana Duana. And our President Baumia. Until the American was say what you see will can be so emami. Because your systems are you didn't monitor your Niama. And I say, we share Nano Asimia a see na. Investigation there. Investigation doesn't mean you allow the person at post.
By this time goes
What
no crime and it baby.
Investigation. so just senti say ade papers bi e wo ba bi a say ye 389 she ho ana ye di 0 bi ka ba bi a e betuma ka van niama that thing and say me no ka say sa niama na e bia
omo ye de da kra
anti I say problem be eba something that has to do with corruption. You don't leave the person further to his advantage because office or unti minka say una oye penya ohun aba assemti no obi fufuro betima bo awura wo you still have your own ways of doing things. Anyama bi si a
especially some office in Caribbean or boys crying and even in your absence grab it me 1 or 2 calls be just to feel certain things
because I dey way nipa bebre na benefit free mu one say we call port system immigration system custom system na say wo pese wo nko awudidi a ye be chew nti sometimes no teamwork
na say we dey enye nipa ba
yes obia ni so nti say bibi basa then you must punch holes in the system if you are way kotena fie nti no that kind of coordinated act no unya bie nti bibi beton si wo babi nya sanka we there nia ecosi one hwe ya na we assign bibi they are called the next office where a bibi because they can do whatever to cover themselves now
since they are still in the office
yes and no ho asem na make me that say
yeah, moving to your second topic, but before I even move, I'm presuming with this and come away as to whether it will inure to the benefit of the MPP. Okay. And I read the issue here, and one of the and someone the NDC member out here can say, the moment you bring that criteria, especially education criteria, then the constitution provision of discrimination will suffice. People will now begin to ask the question, hey, why do you still want to do the elite party? If you are not educated, means you don't find any expression within the MPP. Certain position in your parties, the person must have a certain educational qualifications or to me are contested. Are you not limiting your party? So, for example, uko ebia krachi nchumuru, maybe a papa bi oho wa doko uko a bedi oho jack onu wa DMPP ni mu a say onyaya obeye secretary, but papa no so ensaid uncle school, but why ye koko business for God knows how many years now. Also, that person cannot contest because only diploma and only degree. Is it going to help your party?
Yo, opinion me that sepan. Udika, yanso yawo asichere. One will say, MPP is an organization. It needs to be run, not just run. It needs to be appropriately run. Yeah, we are going to elect 11 positions. That's chairman Diba. Communication. The positions are 11. Now, ya share say, uba your constitution moi. Sebi chairman kra duka kra and secretary. In the MPP's constitution. Chairman, secretary no is a chairman ase. Because chairman constituency na regional na say adeni na eshenansa. Nti nanka say bibi sa keke enanka ye ya. Like the chairman should be the best person cry the educational criteria ebetonoso. But this is the case. Secretary Wajuma any day. Uchemi Wajuma any day. Wajuma ni say ubeshe nkratan sem ama party no. Enti openi say obi anko school ana say ontimi nchoro papa bia oye den koye nkratan sem ama party no. Enti party die say uwo mu a wasum party no ama ache yiye pa. All the other positions are available. You could go for it. But as a secretaryship no a sensitive position. Enti no say ye jai obia sa keke say ko contest a wan sha e china ye pe obi kura tro bibi ama party na ye nya. nti na wo hwɛ a criteria no enye criteria emu ye du bia at the constituency level is diploma, at the polling station or electoral area level is SHS, because you need to be able to even read and write. Send the coordination of affairs party
I know of somebody he completed secondary school.
Yeah.
For one reason or the other, want to be unfair. But this is somebody who can read and write fluently. In fact, only would didn't come on. That's one can't tell say he dropped from secondary school level. You would not even know.
Yeah.
But this is a person who would want to be a constituency chairman for constituency secretary, for example. But because only, will you not push people away?
Yeah.
People who, quote unquote, may not have the opportunity to get the formal education, because there are people who are also into the informal education. So they are gurus on their own field. Yeah. Are you not pushing people away when you are now in opposition and you need all the numbers?
Yeah. Openly, there are a lot of people who could do something better than those who formally occupy some positions, even in law. And Bias a country be one lawyer, Bias on your qualified lawyer, but on court and Luzi,
yes,
Ukaya, only chrono, which means he has the innate ability. But say a ban institution Mudia, you cannot put someone down and scrutinize the person from A to Z. Say, now Jane at the same. Just as I said, be cracked and one obey the use. Until me feel say we must align with our party leaders. They know better, just as we also know. Positions no endorse. Eye bebre. Ya amfa criteria to ABR, so just the secretaryship. Me your constituencies, your constituencies bebre. Say the chairman no kra anko school. You will be youth organizer, Oma anko school. The party doesn't front to this. But you did say Nkratan sem the ABR a ban press conference. Ubetro BBBA. One say Ghana Krambra Emma Unkwan say wait my be president na one go school. Because it's assumed say Ubaya president you have your technocrats, you have your aides, they will support you. But at the local party level, won't me and them because you don't have what it takes to take care of those things. Intermediate say the secretaryship is a very sensitive position. Yeah, per se. Ubia Sebio Ube occupy that position. You should be able to read or write to some level. And yes, I want to say here, your own executives will bully you. Positions is for you to be effective. Until say you are good at writing and reading. When you say you're good at writing and reading, now me a secretary. Now say me papa kura. Executive meeting one share ya obey me obi a obeka be actual. You cannot be effective. Until you paying for a year, is to ensure say every leader will be effective in the party towards our 2028 victory.
Jeroboam, I don't know whether you agree in that vein that if it comes to the position of the secretary, a secretary should be a secretary who can read and write.
Actually, then I can't ask them. Say, Suradia, for crown on to be. People no money on my son, but where they may to be. I think say, it's not a bad directive. Because Necrano, as I'll be the pastor crowd, they demand of you say, it's only some qualification be before you are. Yes. In my one thing so Santi as I said, every decision BI would never go well for anybody. And yet there are some section of people no it will go against them. Yes, and now can because secretary you are the administrative head, more or less you are the CEO. The call data and all those things. It is a one to me. I think say a hardware and also at the constituency level diploma is not too much to ask. Yes, it's not too much because constituency you are dealing with a lot of delegates around you. The constituency one away the CEO there administratively. Of course, the chairman is the leader, but a banner side data in your money there is a year. But then, and American one say the approach will be good, but how you convey it must also be problematic. You know, say if they can engage well, such that when they roll it out, but like some when she be bad, that would have been a perfect system. Because in the crowd, your current appointment there, course Ukraine now. That days of Chama Unko school is becoming a thing of the past. And then we are under NDCC, so we are constituency secretary. That's a we need any problem with your MPR. The probability say we are DC very high. We are regional secretary. The probability say you becoming the regional minister there high. All is dependent on how we are. A typical example there, Ashanti region say, who heard Frank Amoko and Tom regional secretary now, who heard the fact that need send your code dating near. So when it's now, she just say you have seen your numbers, and he played out in the election. I think for the first time in Ashanti region above 30%. Of course, the turnout was low, but that was all we got. And you know, for me, I think it's not too much to ask because in the room had no matter how good are we, and your room but be young or cassette, oh we are good or be any history. The only bam is a paper. And to bad the coin anymore, say you are not able to demonstrate your competence there. Then the future elections, you suffer the consequences.
Stabilization alone doesn't transform the economy and our President Mahama Akai. Now two force say seeding say stabilizing seeding. President Mahama said it doesn't transform the economy. Is a stable a normal kakra na ne boa bafum. You say seasonal crops na say ya shutu nkrofo e Cote d'Ivoire tomatoes boy dem papa and tomatoes ba ko tia kitu e bi 5 cedi na me kwa na afi ya sai mo say ma me to o si ba ko 5 cedi me say to 20 Ghana was as me e ma me 3 me ko du fi na nza me hu
3 normal na
20 cedis 3 o si ba ko 5 cedis o si ba ko 5 cedis and I'm say only o ma me 20 cedis na ko so ma me 4 me go do fie na ka 3
you say bia ohun ring na show na say no go the town
but our economy as we speak now in Crawford cultural the realities in our books are looking good but on the grounds they are not. Admittedly oya boakofum emu boakofum any ade any marginal school fees akosoro kakra especially goods and even in fact your crops are yedi no bayere e bronia ye dua no memu akromporo anu kwa ne bo no still kosoro. For the ordinary person, you can't economy no and one ubuto. President Mahama Kra Kabipe, or say economy, and one and ubuto. As we are moving now, almost the economy no, you are stabilizing. But people say the economy is not stabilized as you want us to believe.
Okay, medawase. Na obo economy the mamefa konya na minchia the indefatigable CEO Maslock. I think so we one institution now. About the bar say emwa small business. In the time past, especially from 2021 the ban nenya kono eventually collapse. But I think we buy she has brought so many reforms and then
Elom
Abigail Akwama Mensa. I mean one fantastic.
Matisse as you also go play MPB over.
I'm talking about the hair carrying role. She's doing very well.
And I was
and now Friday say or Maslock for partner with prisons and they brought a lot of tricycle motorbikes or Monday man for and all is aimed to making sure say the Ghanaian youth become average or become a self dependent on his or her own ever born a basso. Now to the substantive matter. Head and near say stabilization is not what.
Oh, stabilization it can transform the economy.
You see, I am part because the fact that one worry automatically does not bring children. But and some of Benya in Kolano, maybe you can get children through Impanachwe, but ordinarily no. After marriage, then the outcome should be what? Stabilization of an economy will necessitate or will occasion industrial revolution and asset transformation. The reason why makers are say, I say no kind of roles are not be on there, but His Excellency in my head say, the economy is stabilized. There's credibility on the Ghanaian economy. Name if we don't go a step further and making sure say you pay attention to the industry sector now, and no one cannot bring the relief expected of Ghanaians to fail. The reason is that when you have a stable economy, the decline, it guarantees your purchasing power and guarantees your planning. A typical example here, okay, the year 2022, every inflation could be 54%. So what kind of World Bank report now? And my business will be fully out. And my Ghana you lose about $6 billion in the economy. That is why the CD was exposed, because there was no forest. So in the local economy, there was more money moving around, but the forest was not available. No businessman in the look at the interest rate in the World Bank zone, about 28%, and about 18-15%. Where food inflation, like I say, it was in the 20s and about single digit. Yes, so I name it. And we a businessman. Now, if you don't say, okay, if there's a stable economy, then you can begin to think of what to bring. Because do you know, say, until yesterday, I didn't even know that near a producer of Ghana only contribute 10%. Abroche, you know, Abroche, did you work in the formal sector? It's the private sector. Production there, Ecoso. And they say, no, abandon just say, see, the economy now is stable there. Then we have to also empower the industry sector so that production will go high. So that is where the relation between 24-hour economy and the now, how do we do it? His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Carter said the CD has come down, the stability in the market, because now if the CD not gaining strength, now say you are not producing now, and Ghana is an import-driven nation. Until once you are controlling importing, and they will come and look at what is happening in world market cocoa price. Who anticipated this will happen? So fluctuation be bad, then near quite back. Say bit my yes had in there, let's encourage or let's empower the industry sector so that they can produce more. First of all, to feed us. When it's sufficient, say those one, they will export. That is how a country can be sustained. And now even the target is even in the next 2030, we should be doing 15%. So now, the relation in this statement don't make any sense. First, we a car dealer, and then we car boa ba from. So who could cranium back? Do you know that inflation on import goods alone last 2024 was 19.8%, and about single digit number? The actual one say, purchasing power never cost until we get a production, and that's why we set up a company. You can import more. Who import more at the bar? Now, Bana catch you say, and then you the policy from 24-hour economy at the ABBA. I mean, this is the home rack of parliament. Ya pass it. President has assented, it has been enacted, and it has become law. So how do you combine the two effects? Now, you catch yourself, you have a low reading meter. And with electricity reading and high. You have ensure security, because one people are working at night, microphobia person will take advantage. So we have to also help security there. I did back when I say, one now person signing into a 24-hour economy. You better import some more beam in as much as say single digit no. You say better some more to make the environment very conducive for you. Into important time name away in a bar. Then you can increase your production. Into a business we can about you say be can cocoa sin okay you processable ha. I don't think that's how well market price there by saying can be high be of course a benefit impact. But say I can say there were 50% of business being processed here now. Infrastructure be ready, everybody come here. And so, what is the government doing? And then, who can say in the budget say no? You can say you be see 1.2 megawatts of generational capacity to reduce 75% of electricity bill. And the light be no wedding. That's understood. This is how name when you're there. Ebom. Abandon or then why? Abandon is about 3.4 billion. Yeah, the BS I don't know. It is stabilizing the economy for you, the businessman, to take advantage. And also, uba let's say bia look at the agri sector and they can food inflation say no who say in the budget ni say no aside said the yatiama feeder road fund and a big push no yes say ade ba ko mo food inflation so ye dey any boy dey ni say ye do enuane no afumu ho na kwan ni nyanti no or the back room of factor in international adonai akosoro so abani allocate 828 million Ghana cedis say yem fan ko ye ufum kwan so that we can also work on their roads then food inflation will come down. I'm making this point because say everyone say bia o pese o see cashew processing na cashew ni say wa fum nti say wan yes ha niam na yi na say okofa ba na say the boy dey o process we kwan na ono no as business person you no bear that cost you pass it on to the final consumer when the final consumer na me no wo Ghana for. So this is what the government is doing. So government the opposite can you say the stabilization na yanya no and no kwanye enough but businessmen no sector no take advantage to know afa kwame catch you say we na my there my ti mo dem hu jima na say production no cost run it will bring so much ease na say be $1 above from fuel above from na say there be a kran niam ba there be a kran niam ba na say well market niam crash here end. So stabilization alone is not bringing relief to Ghanaians. Any them any are doing, but then for us to thrive on it, it's about production.
Okay.
And you know, more change now is in the private sector. If we are more company way, or where they big company or the mukunku no to do keko. I don't know. They process all those and package it. Near imported by IFN or Cocoa Foods, and all this thing is going as affecting the Ghanaian city. So what they can say. Instead of buying this time or buying, okay, then Cocoa kitten there. Yeah, and this time you see processing it there. Until a young coconut we na see come we are. Yes, we bet me package. At least we can feed ourselves. Yen sanko coffee out about $400 million every month importing Cocoa Foods, which has an effect on the Ghanaians. You know, stabilization alone might not be the relief for Ghana, but then say increasing the industry sector now, Ghana will benefit largely.
James, yo, that's it, me that's it, pan. It's like me brai wayade to talk for the NDC and now the government today. We are will say your boy basso because enough so kudos. Why I say only maybe idea ye need NDC for share.
Senior was starting to
and then our president Kokai. That's him. We need this in Ibia Shia. Now say, Ubi San Sidena, a $1 above. Way I say. Not your catch wrong with that say. And no far relief and mouth. That's this is not the first time you are hearing this. MPP for that has been our stand. But but thank God the big man himself has spoken. One is the people he met, they are level-headed people. They are propaganda. That is why I was said, Okanukra Ewu, opening the stabilization of the economy. It started way back the MPP region. Oka Bibino can be said around 2022. Now inflation was 54. It was actually 40, but oh dear, let's grant 54. But we left power around when the inflation was around 19 or 22.
23.8.
Yes, around. Let's say there was a drastic fall, and I say a better improvement of the inflation. Over kaya na dollar fuel and I'm around 17. Your time no one artist wa you be free by muna e was 14. Many other things, even fried toy in there, NDC Nibia Casa was in a fried toy was 1,002, never 1,000, but over Kano Kra, that it was after the COVID-19 and fried toy echo ya could do 1,000. But MPP be free by muna were around 600. What I say? Nti stabilization we no started our MPP for after the pandemic no ya toto enema yi obekaya pandemic no ba ye no Nanado Eka Simbi say what we cannot do is to bring people back to life. But the economy, we can always have a way of bringing it back to life. It's say at that point, now your inflation, your fuel, BBR, now it was good. Over Kaya early 2020. Now BBR now come by president, he has foreseen, he said, near up 2 years, the economy will be back. In the baby, economy, no, I didn't say, now MPP for a year because and take it by surprise. It was something we speculated and we work around with. Intina Nyama I started falling before Fufia and Tuata ye free abaymuno. Until NDC for me the day American said they have inherited economic fortune from the MPP. Omubeba abaymuno. Na Nyama bia ye dia tutu akwanmuno. Na aso abama omo abeti bi AD. So they were carried away, said that they didn't know what to do at what time. They didn't actually know. Say, "Ye jai bibi mawa." Unim said etie. And now they were so eulogizing the fall of the dollar. Any ehunka kahun, but and then they have come to a crossroad. And what is the crossroad? Is to harmonize, is to humanize, is to align the good economic fortune and so-called the stability, to the reality. And the reality is people's pocket. And that is the most important thing Ghanaians are interested in.
But it is more or less like when you are in opposition,
Yeah.
economy na ne ubotum.
Yes.
But uba buy more economy no e book him.
You know, that is what I will not speak for.
But and sana musumu ye ebra mu opposition and ya mu buy you know the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. Afe uba ben mu na afe yes o say no exchange rate na IBB or see you it is when it was true then, it is true now, but it is what logic for you to think, you know, that kind of thing. Who oppositioner? The economic indicators are in the book. When we are telling you that, oh, I hear inflation, I say inflation. When the inflation drop, when dollar is, or the cedi to the dollar is on a decline and all that, the ordinary Ghanaian want to feel what you say is good in their pocket.
Open your own say. Nanadoka Simbi said 2024 was the most consequential decision Ghanaians were going to take. Bijidi say after 2024, before 2028, Ghanaians will better appreciate what governance is. Bijidi say Bambi Emba Akonya so say Obama or Mainumo Ayedi Ama 8 citizens. What did I say? But the realities are always there. You wish for, but this is the reality. You must cope with it. And I am saying this because of your question. And Timbra, and this is for Amaya Kwan. Amaya explain it to Ghanaians to say these are the realities. And should I be the person to talk for them today? No. What they use against us is what we will use against them. Until all we are looking at is yes. Because of reasons best known to them. And it has
but you had the opportunity to explain to because of one chirimu.
And I'm saying that be your kasai. But you can't, then they will counter it. And I wouldn't even say opposition so dear or can I say my GG. Because when people are feeling it and you are talking for them,
yes,
yeah, they consider you as one of their own.
I get you.
Me ba say what you say. And then I then akuatia ye. Within this week, ye penny we apenyo
market, yes.
Or sahine or kanye say the economy look good on papers than reality. Until or you see 10B say the papers are better than the life of the people. Okay, Bibisa. So what I say? Because people want to feel it. And the reality is what the NDC, they have struggled to explain to Ghanaians. Until President Mahama Ekan, a said, NDC phone now should go back to the drawing table. Let's stop the like the noise and how we eulogize the
the fall of the
the fall of the seed ni ɛho keka ho no yɛyɛ saa ɛnkosi baabi anti ɛmi the pan sɛ president no nkasa ɛna ɛka wei the president mentioned 3 things sɛ ɛba mu a ɛno na ɛbɛkyerɛ sɛ you are actually working and you are transforming the economy. These are the 3 things he mentioned. He mentioned industrial productivity. He mentioned also job creation. And he mentioned export competitiveness. Into industrial productivity. If you are facing higher tariffs, you will not be productive enough. You know this. If we talk about job creation, NDC for from 2025 till date, with the job accurate. Even the 24-hour economy almost say 133. We thought maybe by now everybody would have been working, but in see what I say. Then when we talk about export competitiveness, what is export competitiveness? Is to get your product to the world market and sell it over the how do I put it? And sell it in such a way that you won't face any heat or pressure from other local producers. Like in case of cocoa, would the Kojaman Swana or my then Omato? That is export competitiveness. Is it going on? No. And see, President no and Nora another and none one or said that Emma King on one Kassan. Or said that Emma King on because Niaoshia one was a woman no creno a daddy. And to who Sebi and this in Yan Debia Kasa now would you need the whole and the president said James Mahmoud main country will say it's not about the whole, it's about job creation, it's about export competitiveness, it's about industrial productivity. I was say yes, the private sector is a backbone. A buying intimate yet no I was say private sector no is some and the MPP we have the track record of always making sure that the private sector is boosting enough. And we are ever ready to support the government of the day. Now, Koko Asemba, Yusha, Yepenny, Honorable Nkrumah, Kojo Nkrumah, or the two, yes,
upon
Nkrumah, any Yepenny, what is it, Anta, the former
Minister, Finance
Minister
Minister.
for Finance. Only by 2 jobs. They didn't only criticize, they also advised the government on the step they should take. Ntiyano, yambo mpa say adiano embo engu NDC tiso. A ban sa we will have a tougher time when we pick it up from 2029. Ntinia endura president no akano ye nyina yate yebeboa a make sure say going forward no yebe hwe amania e wo say wo ye efa job creation ni ehon keka ho no ye nyina yebeboa.
Na 2029 mbanyaba.
Oh, 2029 they say clear ba.
Maba.
No, open in Yama Bia NDC for a kind and unti Ghana for a tutiano. And no one been a kuntia on it. And Yama no mukai me say, be break run one. A month for ya canan catchina yakotuaba. But the NDC me a short say. One was the president Mahama Kabi said Ghanaians have short memory. And to me a short say, or Yauni Niankron for Famuneno. Going around 2027, 2028, no. Omema niamamu ayemre kakra. Enti me catch Ghana for nyina say, don't be part of the short memory mantra. Make sure say wani ebedaho. Send ye be ya 2028 ye kwa. And then the current situation I will be share out to aba. Unu be nia ufamu edibaye. Openye me dasi.
I remember 1 minute we never chief through
I think say me bra kasa no or lay some foundations be. The truth be told, say the fact available no, does not bear him out. Or say or no quoting the figures say inflation no could do 40. Name more de ba and teacher say it was on a downward trend in J. They can't say in the year 2023. Inflation ended by 23.2%. Do you know how we ended inflation in the year 2024? 23.8%. that between the two no then
But you said it went to 54 before.
so yes in our watch say above from above from 2023 am I 23.2 think in the coming year no I think about 23 point something and I say be 22 point something I can call from 23.2 no I call 23.8%. So that narrative does not survive. Or can about import competitiveness. Then the explanation will give you export rather.
Yeah.
Meaning the enya dream. It's not necessarily say unya competition from a yino. Name mum you wadi be a friend trade surplus. That the trade surplus and any day. Trade surplus is a measure of how much you import against how much you export. This year trade surplus is around 13.7 billion Ghana cedis. Under your time, it was in the negatives. And to overturn no catch them and say, import we are not doing well. The fact does not bear you out. And also why you can't current balance. The current balance. Current balance today is about 3.0%. Your time it was negative. That and also why be we will say we inherited an economy that was on a track of doing well. Yeah, call IMF here, Ben. We went to IMF in the year 2022. True of us. IMF had the restriction. Omono a external body. They guide you on how to spend. That I am telling you, say target a dima MPP. Even under IMF, they miss all of them. Target near them. They catch the Momo MP for say you should do commitment basis of 0.5%. Surplus. They mixed it and did in excess of 1.5%. And so I find it very difficult. Even IMF only projected man will say you should use 9 years to bring Ghana GDP to 45%. You left it in the regions of 60. NDC by under Atto-Forsen leadership, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama stringent supervision. In the space of 1 year, that yeah, they are about 45%. And my year can also take about 113 million Ghana cedis. And free so the fact does not bear you out. And we are still complaining. Ghana, we are not claiming utopia. You can't say what way there be. Because I are not fair. But it is a logical fallacy for MPP never catch them and say the Ghanaians in the year 2024 no, are better off in 2025, 2026. I just don't get where that fact is coming from. And you go for and catch and say the economy in the economy. So much my NDC year, dollar will be traded at 25%, 25 Ghana cedi. Or more manka. The same factors I work on us still. Momo time no. Mami, let me show you something very egregious here. Moya Mutamu DDAP no. Do you know they pass it on to Ghana? And this year, finance minister need to have 19 billion Ghana cedi. That you convert this into the dollar equivalence. Huge sums of money. You try winning in Chino. Look at how much the dollar is trading. So if in the year 2023 nebano, say the nan near cost no, and if you say if you can, that's what was our range now. Do you know how much items we have been today? So see now, yeah, didn't command there. Momo they about fast and there, Mamu famba because all the bar you are dead on arrival.
But that's it.
Now, oh, that must no. Me di manu si no. E ya call a person ye di guy no Drew baby. Ye nyen Drew ho. But no MPP person to come and tell Ghana, oh yes, I can. Only didn't tell MPP they will lose the 2028 election. Their communication. But now, no, they should have been thinking of how to bring superior facts. Say okay, say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in the year 2025, no, or my free such as 3.5 billion. 2026 or some more 4.2 billion. Me ba me ba me de beko 5.5 billion. Then Ghanaians will listen. Say this Assembly Common Fund, say finance minister na year a budget of 9.8 billion Ghana cedi. Me ba me de beko 15.5 billion Ghana cedi. The Ghanaians will listen, but not trying to, justify against your mess. When in the year 2025, why you cry on all the man? It was even up to 29 Ghana cedis. Last year, the hard working another fantastic young man. Ghana for his an asset, the NAPA boss, lawyer Eddie Tamakulu. One of the finest persons. MP for Kran and Kwako Peno. Full air cost and they were within the range of 11 is their handiwork. Because we had asked that establishes the MP now. That is their core mandate, and he's at the helms of affair. In time, Mekacho say, Nyako Pone, the boy home mind, but at the helms of the economy, they will have mighty minds managing the economy. Thank you.
May I say a quick statement from the special prosecutor. and it is also based on Nkomo Ayedi. Or see, the Office of the Social Prosecutor (OSP) is investigating a suspected corruption involving a diversion of the 25-footer container of palm oil valued at 25.8 million Ghana cedis. The consignment, declared as a transit to Burkina Faso, was unlawfully diverted into the local market without payment of applicable duties and taxes. The office has identified the involvement of some custom officers, national security operatives, and the clearing agent in a corrupt scheme that resulted in an estimated loss of 10.5 million in taxes. The office commenced the investigation on the back of an intelligence-led operation conducted in November 2025. As the process continued, the office remained committed to protecting the public purse and holding integrity. Meaning, say, we no still no. Now say last year no because who?
November 2025.
Yes, 2025.
So the same thing we are talking about. November 2025. Say bibia sina be sin dem ni wo kra enya hu bibia akwa kosia. Then the one happening currently, you could imagine how it will travel.
Yes, meaning say LSP just answer me. Meaning said these people we are investigating. Yeah. There's a probability that they are still in office.
Oh
no, but that's what I'm saying. What's a week? My country say, yeah, my timeline say a week. In a week time. So we'll hold them after 1 week, you know.
Okay.
So that one, let's give them that benefit of the doubt.
Okay. My menace,